Today, there were those dual bills that senators voted on. One was a Republican plan, one was a Democratic plan. They both failed. They did not get anywhere. One of the bills had border wall funding in addition to paychecks for federal workers who are furloughed. They're about to miss their second paycheck. The other bill had no border wall funding. They were both dead on arrival. I think one Democrat voted in favor of the Republican bill, and I think 5 Republicans voted in favor of the Democrat bill. It still didn't matter. So where do we go from here?
Yeah, the one important thing for everyone to remember is that the only reason we are in a shutdown is because the House and the Senate have not done their job. If they were to do their job, which is to pass a budget and the appropriations bills that go with it, there is no way to shut the government down. And so people need to make sure that you disconnect the border wall and funding for national security from the shutdown. Those things are not connected. It just happens to be the issue of the day. We've had shutdowns over healthcare. We've had shutdowns over DACA. And it's because we have continuing resolutions. And so the thing that was most striking to me today was we always talk about how bad the conflict is in Washington. Today was a very clear indication of the collusion. And the collusion that's happening right now is between Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and the Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. They colluded to how this whole thing was going to go down. And they actually did this when nobody was in town by unanimous consent to set up those 2 bills. And they did that for one reason, to make sure that no other senator could offer an amendment or a plan or an alternative to what they were negotiating. And so they've really stripped 98 senators out of their power, their vote, their ability to bring things to the floor. And so the collusion is the problem on this thing. How it moves forward, we all know the Nancy Pelosi plan would only have the government open for 14 days. And while giving relief to federal workers, which is important, but if that's what you want to do, just a symbolic, let's help out the federal workers. Here's a plan. It's the 27-minute plan. Open the government for 27 minutes and fund it only enough to pay those federal workers and then get back to negotiating. If we want symbolism, we can do it with a 27-minute. Otherwise, the Pelosi plan doesn't do anything to help the economy or create certainty for business owners or entrepreneurs or families or even those federal workers. We're still in the same boat. And so we have to do something different. We have to do something bigger. And I think the president will bend a little bit on how much wall gets paid for, maybe a down payment. But we got to do this very different. We got to get rid of the collusion, and it's not left and right. It's the people at the top of the food chain in power
Right.
there.
And that's, by the way, that's not something that's just been in existence the last 2 years under President Trump. That has been for a long, long time. That's why we call Washington, D.C. the swamp. It's because it's been existing. That kind of collusion, that kind of politicking has been in Washington for far too long.